this is ACP Guitars in Cheltenham. We're not like a normal guitar store. We don't sell picks, plectrum strings, anything like that. All we sell here are vintage guitars, vintage Gibson, vintage Fender, occasionally vintage Gretsch's and others. But that is basically all we do. The showroom is by appointment only, and it's designed as a very relaxing place where you can sit down, chill out, and play whatever guitar you like to your heart's content for as long as you want, without any disturbances and without listening to somebody learning to play Stairway to Heaven in the corner. So it's a very relaxing place. That's what it's designed to be. You can browse our very good range of vintage guitars and just pick ones you like and spend as long as you want twiddling with them. There is a workshop upstairs, a reasonably well-equipped workshop, and what we do is we make sure everything's set up as well as we can. All the electronics are cleaned. We also check for originality. We take many photographs, and we do an inspection report which is available for every single guitar. The action is set as nice as we can on it. The frets are cleaned, polished, and obviously you get a new set of strings, and the intonation is all adjusted, and it should leave here in a very playable condition. It's quite common we get asked what is the history of this guitar, and wherever possible we will try and seek that out. We will try and find it, and we'll do our best to research it as well. Sometimes we can't get it, sometimes we can trace it back one, maybe two owners, but when we come across guitars which we know are from the original owner, then it is, yes, a very special day, and we gather as much evidence as we can to include with the guitar sale, and a lot of people are very happy when that happens. So, any interesting recent customers? Yes, one of the most memorable ones which comes to mind is a chap called Brian Ray, who plays guitar for Paul McCartney and his band. We posted an extremely rare 1962 Gibson Les Paul SG Junior on our Instagram feed, and it was probably the fastest selling guitar we've ever had. It sold within seconds. We had so many messages about it, but Brian was the very first one to actually commit to it straight away. And it was on the Instagram site, and the sale was finalised within 5 minutes of it going up. It was incredible. And Brian, I believe, is very happy with it, and hopefully we'll see pictures of him playing it on various stages across the world with Paul McCartney. The rarest guitar I've sold so far? Well, that Les Paul SG Junior was pretty rare, which Brian Ray bought. We also have a 1958 custom Telecaster prototype guitar, which was the very same one which was featured in the Fender short-form catalogue of 1959, and used for the Esquire, and used in all the short-form catalogues up to 1966. And we've managed to match the grain on the wood to the grain on the wood in the catalogue, and it's that exact same guitar. That was a one-off, and that is pretty rare. Also, we've had a 1965 Pelham Blue ES 335, which again is insanely rare. Original colour. You occasionally see melody makers, you occasionally see SGs in Pelham Blue, but to find a 335 is very difficult. You struggle to find another one of those, I think. Have we ever had a guitar in which is so original that we can't really do much to it? Well, that's a good point, and at the moment we do. We have one which we haven't had anything like this for a very long time. We've got a 1964, very early 64, custom colour left-handed Fender Stratocaster in Lake Placid Blue. This guitar was bought by an electrician in 1964. He spent less than 2 years learning how to play it. I don't think he got on very well with it. When the top E string broke, he basically gave up, put it in his closet, and left it until fairly recently. So it has the same strings as it left the factory with. It's got green frets. One of the strings is obviously broken. It plays like rubbish and it desperately needs a setup, and we so want to do it. However, we're struggling with what to do on this one. I actually emailed Joe Bonamassa for his advice on this, because I know he sometimes comes across guitars like this. And he said to me, just leave it. Leave the decision for the next owner to decide what he or she wants to do with it, what extent of work, but it shouldn't be your decision. Let the next owner decide. So we have it here in our showroom with green frets, mouldy strings, one broken string, and we're selling it. That's one guitar we're not going to do anything with. Yes, I think that there are a certain amount of starter sleeper packages which are still available. The old 50s, 60s Fender Duosonics represent very good value for money, and I can't see those dropping in price. Similarly, the Music Masters as well, and you also have the cheaper Gibsons, the Juniors, the SG Juniors. A very good value, I think, at the moment. And you also have offsets, the Jaguars, although they are actually starting to creep up, especially the custom colours. The same can be said for the Jazzmasters, but again, the custom colours are going up. However, the Sunbursts are relatively affordable. And you also have some Gibson thin lines as well, like the ES125, the ES225. Occasionally, you get good bargains with those. And all of these guitars, if you buy them, you are probably not going to lose any money on them. They're going to be a good sound investment, and in a few years' time you should be able to sell them at a reasonable profit. We sell a few refinished Strats. They're very popular. The danger is with Strats and other Fender guitars is because they're bolt together pieces. You can get a body from one guitar, a neck from the other, electronics from another, and people can basically assemble a guitar out of parts sourced from eBay. So we tend to, if we buy in refinished guitars, we tend to make sure that they're at least from the same guitar. The electrics, the neck and the body have been from the same guitar, and we generally look for a known history with these instruments, so we can actually make an educated guess that they are the same guitar. Yes, we don't generally sell amps. I'll just explain the reason for that is they don't tend to ship very well, vintage amps. They very rarely arrive in a good condition compared to guitars, which do tend to travel quite well. And also, a lot of vintage amps don't meet the modern safety standards for pat testing. So we made a conscious decision not to sell a great deal of vintage amps. We do occasionally, but not very many. So what we do is we keep them here as part of a collection, like our wallpaper, and they're here for people to plug in, try out. So if anyone comes down here and they want to try out the guitars through the amps, they have a selection of anything from a full-blown Marshall stack, a Mesa Boogie Mark IV on the modern side, and then also on the modern side we have a Trainwreck combo here for people to try. And on the vintage front we have quite a large selection of Fenders. We have a 63 Bassman, a 62 Tremolux, a 61 Pro amp, a 63 Super Reverb. We have a couple of Tweeds. We have a 1955 small box Tweed Deluxe, and we have a 1958 Fender Champ, as well as a 1958 Gibson Skylark. And we have some blackface Fenders. We have a couple of Princeton Reverb. We have a Deluxe Reverb. We have a small Gretsch combo, which I think might be called a Playboy, I'm not sure. And we have one of our latest editions, virtually mint condition Magnatone 280, which is a great amp. 1959, very rare to see in mint condition, and when I was putting all the tubes back in, I looked at the tubes and I think every single one was the original tube from 1959. Great sounding amp. So we have a good selection of amps for people to plug in and just play their heart out.